How to stop caring what people think of you without losing your soul. We don't realize how much of our lives are spent in chains. Chains we put on ourselves. Chains made out of one simple fear. What will they think of me? Will they approve? Will they laugh? Will they judge me? Will they see me as a failure? This fear is invisible, but it controls everything. What you say, what you don't say, the risks you take, the dreams you chase or abandon. Just the hidden hand steering your entire life without your permission. You're here, it's because you feel it too. You know deep down, you're living smaller than you were born to. Not because you aren't capable, but because you're still tied to the opinions of people who don't even know your soul. And today we're going to cut those chains, not by becoming arrogant, not by becoming careless, but by becoming grounded in yourself. You're going to learn how to stop caring what people think without becoming someone you hate, without becoming a cold, selfish monster, without losing your humanity. Just the opposite, you'll finally claim it back. Step 1, why you care so much. Before you can fix this, you have to understand it. You aren't weak. You aren't broken. You aren't stupid. You care because you built your self-image the wrong way. Somewhere along the line, you decided, if people approve of me, it means I'm good. If people disapprove of me, it means I'm bad. You handed the keys to your self-worth over to the world. Every stranger, every boss, every friend, every critic. You gave them the power to decide if you were worthy or not. And now you're stuck in an endless game of trying to please an invisible jury. It's exhausting, it's hopeless, and worst of all, it guarantees you'll never live the life you were meant to. Because when you're busy managing your image, you can't build your dream. You can either protect your self-image or build your real future. You can't do both. Step 2, the trap of the good person image. If you're honest, you'll see this pattern in yourself. You want to be seen as a good, kind, noble person, someone empathetic, someone selfless, is someone who cares. On the surface, this sounds virtuous, but underneath, it's a trap. Because in trying so hard to look good to others, you end up betraying your own values. You end up putting everyone's agenda ahead of your own. Your dreams get delayed. Your truth gets watered down. Your soul gets buried under politeness and approval seeking. And here's the brutal truth. No matter how hard you try, you'll never win the approval of everyone. Even if you're perfect, even if you sacrifice everything, even if you live your whole life trying to be the ideal version of yourself in everyone else's eyes, someone will still hate you. Someone will still misunderstand you. Someone will still criticize you. You're fighting an unwinnable battle, and the longer you fight it, the more you lose yourself. Step 3, the middle way, true independence. There are 2 extremes people fall into when trying to stop caring about opinions. They either become cold, ruthless assholes, or they stay trapped in people-pleasing and pretend it's kindness. Neither is the goal. The real solution, the middle way. You stay deeply rooted in your own values. You stay kind but not weak. You stay caring but not needy. You stay connected but not dependent. You don't swing wildly between total self-sacrifice and total selfishness. You walk the line. You build your own spine, quiet, strong, immovable. When you live this way, praise and criticism lose their power over you. You're guided by your own internal compass, not by the random winds of public opinion. This is what real freedom looks like, and it's closer than you think. Step 4, the addiction to validation. The world trains you from birth to crave approval. Good grades get you gold stars. Good behavior gets you praise. Looking good gets you compliments. And it feels good, like a drug. Every time someone approves of you, you get a little hit of dopamine, a little spark of I'm okay, a little shot of I'm enough. And over time, without even realizing, you become addicted to that feeling. You start needing it, chasing it, adjusting your behavior to get more of it. You lose your true self, piece by piece, just to keep the hits coming. But here's the dark truth. No amount of external validation will ever fill the hole left by abandoning yourself. Is it because deep down you know the truth? You know when you're performing. You know when you're compromising. You know when you're betraying who you really are just to win a few claps from the crowd. And that self-betrayal rots you from the inside. It doesn't matter how much applause you get. It doesn't matter how many people approve of you. If you're not aligned with yourself, you'll always feel hollow. The only real freedom comes when you break the addiction. When you stop chasing approval like a starving dog. When you start living by your own standards, not theirs. Step 5, how to handle criticism properly. Criticism will come. No matter what you do, no matter how carefully you walk, you cannot escape it. You cannot avoid it. Just stop trying. Instead, learn how to handle it properly. And it starts by understanding this. Most criticism says more about the critic than it says about you. People criticize from their own wounds, from their own insecurities, from their own fears and frustrations. Sometimes their criticism isn't even about you at all. You're just the closest target. A bitter person criticizes your happiness. A coward criticizes your courage. A failure criticizes your ambition. It's projection. It's displacement. It's their problem, not yours. Now, does that mean all criticism is useless? No. Sometimes there's truth hidden in the noise. But your job isn't to react emotionally to every word. Your job is to sort carefully. If there's truth, extract it, use it. If it's just noise, discard it, move on. No arguing, no explaining, no seeking approval from the people throwing stones. You don't have time for that. Your future is too important. Step 6, why praise is a trap too. Here's where most people get fooled. They think only criticism is dangerous. But praise can be just as deadly, because when you start craving praise, you become just as enslaved as when you fear criticism. You start making decisions based on, will they like me more if I do this? Will I get more admiration if I act this way? Will they applaud me for saying this? You start performing instead of living. And worst of all, you become addicted to the applause. You start playing safe to protect it. You stop taking risks that could lead to real growth. You become a puppet for the crowd's cheers. Real strength comes when you treat praise and criticism the same way. Acknowledge it, appreciate it if it's genuine, but never let it control your direction. You listen to your own internal compass, not the noise outside. This is where true independence is born, not from arrogance, not from rebellion, but from clarity. I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I don't need permission to keep moving. Step 7, fully stepping into your true self. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. You already know who you are. You've always known. Underneath all the conditioning, underneath all the masks you wear for different people, underneath all the fear, there's a real you, a version of you who doesn't flinch at judgment, a version of you who doesn't mold himself to fit in, a version of you who moves through the world with quiet, unstoppable power. You don't need to create that self. You need to unbury him. You need to peel off the layers of approval chasing, image protecting nonsense you picked up trying to survive in a broken world. You don't need to become someone new. You need to return. Return to the kid who spoke his mind without fear. Return to the soul that dreamed huge without asking if it was realistic. Return to the warrior who didn't need validation to breathe. And when you do that, you realize something stunning. Most of the world is still trapped. You just walk free. Step 8, dealing with isolation and why it's a good sign. Here's the part no one warns you about. When you stop caring what people think, when you stop conforming, when you start walking your own path, you will lose people, friends, family, partners, followers. Some people liked you better when you were smaller, when you needed their approval, when you played by their rules. The second you stop performing for them, you'll feel betrayed, not because you did anything wrong, but because your freedom forces them to face their own chains. And most people would rather hate you than free themselves. Let them go. You'll need to explain. You don't need to convince me. You don't need to carry guilt for choosing yourself, because on the other side of that temporary loneliness, you find the people who see you for who you really are. You find relationships built on truth, not performance. You find a life built on authenticity, not image management. Temporary isolation is the price of real freedom, and it's a price worth paying. Step 9, the final shift, moving from performer to creator. At the root of all fear of judgment is this hidden belief: I'm on stage and they're the audience. You act and the judge. You win or lose based on their reactions. This mindset is poison, because when you believe you're on stage, you'll never stop performing. You will never stop living for their applause. You'll never stop hiding your true self behind a mask. The final shift is this: you stop being a performer, you start being a creator. You're not on stage. You're not waiting for approval. You're building your own life, your own world, your own story. If people love it, good. If they hate it, good. If they misunderstand it, good. None of it matters, because you're not performing for them. You're creating for yourself. You're living for yourself. You're answering to the future self you're becoming, not the crowd. This shift is where unstoppable self-trust is born. This is where your real life begins, bringing it all together. You're born free. You were born untamed. You were born whole. It was the world that taught you to doubt yourself. It was the world that trained you to seek permission. It was the world that programmed you to build your life around the fleeting approval of strangers. But now you see it, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You have a choice to make: to keep living small to please people who will never truly see you, or step into your true self and build a life too real, too powerful, too unstoppable for their approval or disapproval to matter. It's not easy. It's not instant, but it's worth it, because at the end of your life, you won't be judged by the opinions you collected. You'll be judged by the person you became, by the battles you fought, by the life you dared to live. Inside the Cult of Me, and that's the work we do, breaking the chains, building the unshakable self, living not for applause, but for truth. You're standing at the doorway right now. The chains are loose. The future is waiting. All that's left is for you to step forward. See you on the inside.